What's your never again story? Never again will I agree to additional roles with the promise of a salary increase without getting it in writing. Doubled my workload. Didn't get paid a dime. Take a laxative without drinking a bunch of water. I thought I was going to die. I love how almost all of these are dating/sex stories, and I was just going to say staying up all night cramming for a test. Slept right through my alarm. Missed the test. Staying at a job for 18 years because I kept thinking it would get better eventually. I finally realized I was in an emotionally abusive relationship with my former employer. It wasn't me, it was them. I moved on, and I'm finally actively appreciated for my contributions. I baked a keto cake yesterday. Tasted the same, like I imagine the smell of burnt tires. Never gonna read into someone's behavior to try to find a silver lining. People show who they are by what they do. It's really that simple. Google my symptoms. Diagnosed myself with stage 4 lung cancer. Decided to die quietly at home. Eventually got dragged to an school doctor, had embolisms in my heart and lungs. Lucky to survive that particular bout of idiocy. Will never again accept someone's excuse for cheating. I'm monogamous. And if you can't be, boy, bye. Letting a guy pick me up for a first date. It forces you to stay even if you're uncomfortable, and lets the guy know where you live, which is a disadvantage if the date doesn't go well. I'll let a guy pick me up last month, something I never do, because my car wouldn't start, and I wish I hadn't. Never begging for someone's love who puts zero effort into the relationship. Accept a pity date from someone I know I have zero interest in. It was awkward as duck from start to finish, and ended with him groping me. I recently told this story, but it's the one and only thing I can really think of, popsicles. I had to take a type of chemo, adriamycin, which required me to keep my mouth cold for the 7 to 8 minutes it took to administer. I never got the stereotypical sick that I expected, but I couldn't stomach to see a popsicle after the second round. I stuck with plain ice after that. I'll never have another one again. Someone who repeats my own thoughts and jokes back to me, as if they are their own original thoughts and jokes. Giving birth. I love my daughter, but not doing it again. Ever. Not for anything. I spent 3 weeks before in the hospital. Got poked with so many needles that I lost count, and she spent 3 weeks in NICU after. My epidural failed, and I wasn't allowed to have pain meds. I still have nightmares about it, and people still ask me when I'm having the next baby. Walking my cat on a leash in the backyard. She made this unearthly yowling noise while running in circles at the very end of the leash. Then she latched onto a chain link fence and tried to climb into the neighbor's yard. When I pulled her off of that, she latched onto my shoulder. At some point, possibly when I was pulling her off the fence, her little claw started bleeding, so there's blood on my shirt from her, and I'm bleeding from her scratches, and my boyfriend had to come save me. She's so energetic, and I thought she would love to have a little romp outside. I came in and cried because she got hurt. Never again. She is an indoor BB. Get back together with a cheater who was manipulative and didn't know what he wanted. Vodka hole on antibiotics at an outdoor concert in June. Vodka on antibiotics in general. You know, actually, just vodka. Stay after the first issue with loyalty. Not necessarily cheating, but just disrespecting you in general around other girls, lying, flirting, etc. Close bracket. Even if you forgive him, it sets a foundation of distrust in the relationship that will only deteriorate over time, or even worse, create resentment. Then you're 4 years in wondering why the hell that one thing from 4 years ago bothered you, and you just can't let it go. Leave after the first lie. I heard it somewhere. It's true, ladies. I'm never getting pregnant and giving birth again. Most painful 9+ months of my life. Edit, I will say giving birth was the easiest part. Pregnancy was 100x harder. I feel like they are all self-explanatory, so let's just list them off. Never dating someone who's extremely prone to jealousy again. They stop at nothing to guilt trip you. Read. Gaslighting. Emotional abuse. Never dating someone who literally lives in their parents' basement again. What was I thinking? In trying to prove I wasn't shallow, I proved I was an idiot. He was 30 BTW. Never dating someone with a tragic one that got away story again. Will not waste my time being constantly compared to someone else ever again. Never dating someone who mentions at every opportunity that they were raised by women, raised to respect women, etc. ever again. I learned the hard way that saying that shit more than once is a nice guy specialty. None of these are even the same person. If I didn't feel like it was my life goal to find my person, I would have given up by now. Edit it #NOTALLBASEMENTDWELLERS and #NOTALLWOMENRAISED. The amount of people offended by my personal choices as if it affects them is irritating. Him turning off inbox replies now. I don't care to defend my experiences anymore. If you're personally bothered by #2 or #4, guess what? We, or me plus your brother, so, husband, father, other misc man in your life, are not a match. Crazy how that works. Never hold on to a relationship that isn't working, and definitely don't stay because the person you're with can't financially take care of himself on his own. Cut your losses early, ladies, and don't invest 5 years of your life in a man who isn't the one. Not man related, hiking into the Grand Canyon from the rim. We got halfway down before it started to get dark and we had to go back up. The temperature dropped 20 degrees, but it was amazing. There are seashells embedded in the rock walls. Think about that, and getting out of the way for passing mules was neat. But I wanted to die for a solid 24 hours after. My knees were both shot, my ankles swollen, my leg muscles useless, and it was the hardest physical feat I'd been through before or since. Glad I did it. Never again. Never ever waiting out tooth pain / dental work. I ignored fillings for a while. Was have minor sensitivity one day and 24 hours later it ballooned into a golf ball sized infection where I couldn't talk because I was in so much constant pain. Tooth pain is serious. Get married to someone whom I have deep feelings for despite having red flags practically slap me in the face at every turn. I will never try to be friends with an ex simply because we have history after years together. It ended with him being jealous because I moved on and spreading nasty malicious lies about me to our friends. Thankfully our friends aren't idiots and know me, so none of his lies got spread around very well. The last time I saw him, I didn't even notice him until my sisters pointed him out. I kinda knew these two homeless dudes and invited them to stay with me for a little while. They ended up stealing a ton of my stuff that had a lot of sentimental value and some other expensive hard to replace things. Now I'll never invite anyone to live with me just because I'm afraid of losing my stuff. I will never beg anyone to stay again. If they don't want to be there, then fine. I'll make sure to keep my dignity and self-respect intact. Go to social events I don't want to go to. It's one thing if it's for work or a wedding, but if people can survive without me, I'm not doing it. I just decided I was adult and I didn't have to go places or do things that make me uncomfortable if I'm not getting anything out of it. One night stand. I've done it a few times and am not ashamed or anything like that. It's just bad every time. Like the guy doesn't care about making me feel good or anything. It's like they're using my vagina as a masturbation tool. The last time I'm pretty sure the only part of my body he touched was the inside of my vagina. Like not even any nipple or clit action. Over it. Wait in a line for an hour and a half during a bar crawl to only get 2 drinks before they have last call. During my freshman year in college, one of my good friends, who was deep in the friend zone, told me he liked me and then asked if he could kiss me. I felt put on the spot, so I just let him do it because I felt bad and I was too much of a wuss to say no. Never, ever, again. Noting the signs of narcissism and ignoring them by counting on their better nature. Again and again. I'm done being a sap. I binge ate an entire pound of celery with the strings in and had terrible stomach pains for about 3 hours before having the densest bowel movement of my life. It'll never be with someone who doesn't want to commit when I do. Seems obvious and cliche, but very true. Not at all opposed to FWBs or casual dating / sex. But I'm so not interested in balking over the word girlfriend. Melatonin. Oh my god. The nightmares. The sleep paralysis. The demon fingernails on my neck. Buying a live Christmas tree. My husband and I are newly married. In our new house. Decide to get a live Christmas tree as we have only had fake ones. Cue us buying the saddest, lumpiest, patchiest tree in the marsh parking lot. We decorated her in purple and pink lights. Stuck a bunch of weird Adventure Time and Nightmare Before Christmas ornaments. And wired a plastic seahorse to the top as the star. Because we didn't have one. Nor find one that we liked. We lovingly named her Lumpy Space Princess due to her awkward and curvy shape. We also didn't ever water her, as again we had never had a live tree. When it came around in mid-January that we had to get her giant ass out of our living room, my husband, in his infinite wisdom, made a decision that I would not endorse now or ever, and dragged her dry, lumpy tree ass through not one, not two, but 3 doorways, and sent pine needles, dried to knife sharp points everywhere. They were in my washer, the closed doorway of the dryer, stuck in the carpets, and in the clothes, under our bed, that the tree was nowhere near just piles and piles of needles all over. We clogged one hose of a shop vac and the tank of another, and to this day, I'm still vacuuming up pine needles from LSP. Yaddle. I laughed till I cried, and with every laugh, my husband got madder and madder, but it was just so ridiculous I couldn't stop. I'm howling, and it was just insane how big of a mess it was. So yeah, fake trees for life. Semicolon. Semicolon. Never again will I'll date a guy without a job, whose parents send him money for rent/food/bills whenever he's running low. It's impossible to teach someone like that personal responsibility, and his failings were always someone else's fault. Staying in contact after a breakup. Give yourself time. If the ex was an idiot like mine was, just block him forever. They'll try to contact you. Just stay strong, there is nothing new you can hear from them, because you already know everything. Exes in general. Dating guys that were too prideful for self-care/mental health/therapy. First was depression. Second was anxiety. Both are in medicine, and were so engrossed in their value as a person being defined by their image and career. I was patient and constantly encouraging them to be more kind and accepting toward themselves. Because my sister had anxiety/depression, and I understand the biopsychosocial model of mental health, and I understand the medical field and toxic masculinity and whatnot. When they told me that they didn't want to work on themselves/their mood, then I knew it was time to go. It's not anybody's fault that they have mental health conditions, but it's how they choose to manifest their condition is important. A condition is an explanation, and not a license to behave in cruel ways. I'll never allow someone to treat me the way my old best friend treated me. I will not be gaslit or guilt tripped. I have a super low tolerance for that shit now. I'll never ignore red flags. Did that with 2 different guys. The first one, my head was ringing, this isn't right, and yet I kept pushing it to the side. Then I did it again with someone else 9 months later. They were both manipulative gaslighters, and I'm still ducked up mentally from both. Never again. Never again will I have sex in a hot tub. Worst duty ever. Experiment with pop rocks anywhere else but my mouth. Mix friends and finances. I'll never let a guy in my pants again, just because he said he loved me. Equating sex with love is wrong and manipulative. Never again will I put others before my happiness, and never again will I let family get away with doing me wrong just because they're family. Never try to fix things with somebody who cheated on you despite how much you love them. It's never the same afterwards. Be a people pleaser. From now on my feelings and needs come first, and I'm allowed to say no with no explanation why. Let love persuade me to stay in an unhealthy relationship. Try to keep a relationship going after being cheated on because others, our friends and his family, love us together. If the love and respect were real, He'd have never cheated / started a relationship with another woman while living together. Pre and post relationship. These seem like a no-brainer. It's amazing what you'll do when you're actually in the situation. His mom and grandmother would call me his future wife during service while him and his new girlfriend sat in the back of the church. It truly was a toxic relationship. Also, will never buy a brand new vehicle again. When I was 15, a guy I was friends with and had zero desire to date asked me out. But to add extra pressure to it, he emphasized how his mother was dying and he feels so alone and has no one, etc. It was a situation in which I felt I couldn't say no. So yeah, I dated my first boyfriend for 8 to 11 months, even though I really didn't want to be with him at all. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.